In the last video, we've made our backend code base, and in this video, we're going to be making a user registration system. So at first, what I want to do is I want to create some more fields. I want to add some more fields to our user model because right now we only have an ID. So let us first create a few models. I want to have a username, which will be db.column, and it will be a 50 character long string, or I think 30 characters is enough. This will be unique and it won't be nullable. Nullable equals false. We have that. Now let's create an email. It's going to be db.column, db.string, and let's have this 255 characters, and this will also be unique and not nullable. For the password, let us use db.column, and this is going to be a large binary, and the length can be 60, and this will not be nullable. And let's now create a to.json thing. We can also have an email field, so email false. So basically this field will be used so that, let's say we have a page where you can view someone else's profile and I don't want to show the email there, so we can do show email equals false as default, and the payload would be id, and that would be self.id. Oops, I didn't take in self as the first argument. The username would be self.username, and that's all we're going to pass. And if show email, we're going to do payload email. That will be show. Oh, sorry, not show email. That will be self.email, and we can now return the payload. And it says there's a problem. Oh, okay, I forgot to put a quotation there. Great. Now let's actually run this. Let me go to my backend, source this, and then let's run the backend. And if I go to localhost, we have our endpoint here, but we need to first migrate our database. So for that, let's go over here. Let's do Flask db migrate -m added fields to user model. And it says there is a unique constraint none. It says unique constraint none on username. What the hell is that? Why does it say unique constraint equals none? Okay, so we can do Flask db upgrade. And if I do MySQL now, oops, my bad. And if I do use setRedit, what? Oh, okay. And if I do describe table users, oops, I can just do describe users here. There's tiny blob, and this says null equals no, so it cannot be nullable. And by default, it's null. Okay, we can, that's fine for now. So we have created our models here, and now I need to enable sessions so that users can log in. Before we do that, let's put Flask bcrypt here. So Flask bcrypt. We also want to have Flask session, or maybe not session for now. We can do session in the next video. And we can go here. So pip install -r requirements.txt. Okay, that's fine. And in the extensions.py, I want to do from Flask bcrypt import bcrypt, and then we can put bcrypt equals to bcrypt. And in the app file, we can just import bcrypt here. And we can do bcrypt.init app. Yeah, that's fine. So that's fine for now. Let me actually check the Flask bcrypt docs. So there's the bcrypt. So it has the bcrypt class here, or I can just initialize the application layer. So I can do init app. Yeah, that's fine for now. So we have all of this, and I want to go to the routers here, and I want to create a new route. So at user router dot post, this will be /create, or let's just call it register. We can do def register user. We're going to return let's say we return success equals to true for now. And if I run the application now and go to Postman, I want to go to Postman and do localhost 5000/user/register. If I send this, it says success equals true, which is okay. And here I want to also get a few fields. So we can have request. And for validators, I might even have a utils folder for this. So we can have a folder called validators. And over here, let me actually make a user validator.py. And here I'm going to create a few things. So first I want to have a def validate, let's say username, and this will return the username. And here I want to take the username as an argument. So we can have username as a string. And I also want to raise a few errors here. So what's the error for you know what, let's forget about it. I'm just gonna raise a normal exception here. So if username dot let's first check the length of this. If username if len username, my brain's not working, is greater than 30, we're gonna raise an exception with the message username length must be between 5 and 30 characters. Let's put 3 and 30 characters. Or then have this, and I'm gonna return the username. Yeah, that sounds good. If not, username. So sometimes the value might be none. We can say username not provided. Yeah, that's okay. So you're gonna return the username, and for special characters, to be honest, I don't care about special characters, but we can do a regex for that later on. For the email, I wanna actually I'm gonna copy a regex from here. Email regex Python, because why the heck not? Yeah, this is how real developers do it, guys. This is how real developers do it. I need the regex for this. You know, geeks for geeks. Does this work? Okay, nice. So this is how real men do it. I'm gonna do import read, and email regex is going to be this. And we can do this function if it is valid. Let's have validate email, and this will return the email. If not email, we're gonna raise an exception. Email has to be provided, or email not provided. And now we can do if len email is greater than 255 to email length greater than 255. And then we're also going to do if not re.match, and then we have the email rejects, raise exception, invalid email. Or I can just import a few exceptions from here. So we can do from exceptions import bad request. Okay, so let me actually replace everything with okay, so now it should throw a bad request if there's a problem with the validation. We have our validations here. We also have our routing, so we can import from the validator. So from api.validators import validator store.user validators import validate username, and then we can do username would be validate username and request.json.get username, and let me print the username to the console. It says no module found. Will it fix this? Okay, why does it say no module found? I do have something called api.validators. Oh, it's called user validator. Okay, my bad. So here and okay, so now if I go to Postman, it's gonna do a bad request and says did not attempt to load. Oh, it would be JSON. And if I send it, it says username not provided, which is fine. So I can do username, and this is gonna be my name, and it says success equals true, and the username is being printed correctly. And I forgot how to replace in Vim, so I had to search that out. Yeah, we have that. Now I can do one for email, and that would be validate email request.json.get email. I also need to validate the password, so validate email and validate password. Now validate password is not accessed, but I can make one over here. That validate password, if not password, rephrase, and be password not provided. If len password, so the password has to be 8 characters at least. We're gonna say password has to be at least 8 characters long. I'm going to return on the password. And now if I go to the user router, I can do password, it's going to be validate password request.json.get password, and that should work. If I go here, it's gonna say email not provided, so I can do email would be my email. That's gonna say password not provided, so I'm gonna do password. Let's do test 1 2 3, or let's just let me just put my name because it's 5 characters and it's 8. In the password, it has to be at least 8 characters. So in my password, so if the password is not equal to or greater than 8, we're gonna throw the error. And this should return success equals true. If I remove 1 character from here, it says password has to be at least 8 characters long. If I remove the @ here, it's gonna say invalid email. And if I remove this here, it's gonna say username length must be 330 characters. The validation thingy is working here. So we have our validators, and now I want to make services. Instead of calling this base service, let me just call this database context. Database, or let's call it database aware. And here we can do database aware, so that it's like it has access to the database object. And I also want to import the did I actually call it database aware? I think I should also have decrypt inside it or something like that. Or you know what, let me just import this from API.extensions import decrypt. That way, when I create the user, I'm going to have a properly validated username, a properly validated email, and properly validated password. And here, at first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a hashed password, and that's going to be password dot, oh sorry, not password dot, decrypt dot generate password hash will be the password. Also need to set up a secret key here. So let me go to .env, and I want to have a secret key. It's going to be Tense Gaming and Heavy 4. Anyways, so I'm not gonna have this, and then probably gonna do new user, and it would be a user. Okay, so from API.models import user, we're gonna do user. Name would be username, email, password would be hashed password. And now do db.session self.db db.session add. Sorry, my bad. It's gonna be a new user, self.db.session commit, and we can now return the new user. But here's a problem. So some people might try to like create a user with the same username, so we need to validate them. We need to like make sure that the users we are like, you know, the username is unique. That's all we need to make sure. So we can do existing user, and we can do user.query.filter, and we want to check 2 fields. One is going to be if the email is same, and the other is going to be if the username is same, or if the username exists, and we want both to be unique. So we can do user dot first it's going to be email based, and second it's going to be user dot username name, then dot first is not none. So we're going to if existing user. I want to raise an error here, or I can just do return, and then probably have some kind of error object, which would be, you know, accessed by the router, because the router is the one that's going to be throwing the error. Or you know what, I'm just gonna raise the error. I'm too lazy. Raise conflict, and the message would be user already exists. Yeah, I don't need an F string. User with the same email or username already exists. Yeah, we can do that. And I can also have an endpoint, so like the front end can see if the user name already exists or not, but we can do that later. And here I'm gonna go to the service thingy has everything here. I want to go here and yeah, I have the user service. Now I'm gonna do result would be user, oops, my bad, user service dot create user. It needs the username, the email, I need the password. Now the thing is, all of these types are unknown, so I'm just gonna add some types here. This will be a string, this would be a string, this would be a string, and yeah. So this is just gonna be the result, and to be honest, it doesn't even need to return anything as long as there aren't any errors, because all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna return something like true. I'm gonna return true, and that's gonna be, oh no, not this. And this is gonna be the result. And I can probably just format everything. Oh, never mind, I'm not gonna format everything yet. So let me try creating a user. It's gonna say success equals true. I can try logging in with MySQL. And I can do select ID, username, email from users. And yeah, I have a user, which is nice. If I try to make the same thing again, it says username with this user with the same email or name already exists. Let me actually change something here. If I change the email, it's gonna say that the username with the same thing exists. If I try to change the name, it's gonna say the same. So yeah, I think our registration thing works. That's great. Our registration thing works. Now we need a login thing. So the login thing is going to be the same. We're going to do user router dot post. Wow, an airplane's literally, okay, it's flying above my house. Great. The def login user, and this would be slash login. Oh, why am I putting another arg here? And I want an email based login, not do request dot json dot get email, and just do request.json like this. I really don't want to validate things here because, not gonna lie, you don't need validation for login. Request.json password. That's all I'm gonna do. And here I'm gonna result is going to be user service dot login user, or probably authenticate user. And if this returns true, I'm going to like just set a session in the router. I don't want to like set the session in the service is business logic, but the cookie has to be set on the controller side. I'm going to email and password. And in the service, let's create another function, def login user self, and this will be the email, which will be a string, and the password, which will be another string. I want to do existing user dot query dot filter by dot first. If not existing user, just gonna raise unauthorized. It's gonna say invalid credentials, because I don't want to let the website, let the end user know that the user does not exist. Yeah, this is like for security and stuff. Now I want to match the password. So if, wait, how do you compare passwords in Recrypt? Check password hash. So if it works, it returns true. So if bcrypt.check password hash, and what will be the first argument? It's going to be the password hash itself. So existing user dot password, and then the password provided. It's going to be if not. We're basically going to return the same thing. And here I'm just going to return user dot existing user dot id. User dot id. That's all I'm going to return. It's just going to return the user id. Existing user dot id. Oops, why did I type that? It's supposed to be a string. Now the reason I'm returning the user ID is because the way we're going to implement our server-sided sessions is that we're going to have the user ID stored in a server-sided session cookie. We could do JWT, but right now I just don't want to do JWT because on the front end it gets really messy, like, you know, with access tokens and refresh tokens. I mean, it is possible, it's not that hard, but I just don't want to like get into the hassle. You know, I'm too lazy. Anyways, we gonna, what the heck? Oh yeah, it's supposed to be authenticate user, not login user. What the heck am I doing? So it's gonna be authenticate user. Okay, and wait, I have to write to the file. Right. And so many errors. Request.json. Object type none is not subscriptable. Oh god. Freaking pyrite. So it's going to return the user ID. And I'm gonna set the cookie later. So set session cookie and return success true. I'm gonna set the session cookie later, not in this video. And if I go here, okay, now let me try to log in with the same credentials. So add request, login, and the body maybe JSON, email, and then the password. Great. This method is not, oh, okay, my bad. Post success equals true. If I change the password a bit, it's gonna say unauthorized. If I change this here, it's still gonna say unauthorized, which is fine, which is literally what we need. And if we have an invalid email, it's still gonna return unauthorized. And if we remove a field from here, it's gonna say key error email. You know what? How about we actually validate it? You know, if it exists or not. So we can validate this. You know, I'm just gonna copy like everything from here. Then we're gonna this and P. I think this should work if I remove something. It says email not provided. Nice. So yeah, I mean, we have some validation and it shouldn't be a big deal. So we're gonna include server-sided session and you know, like session authentication thingy in like in another video, not this one. And why is it giving me an error? User ID is not accessed. Well, does this work? No, this doesn't. Okay, well, forget it. That's it for this video. And the code will be available on GitHub. And I'll see you guys in the next video.